Hello and welcome back to Book Nerd TV. I've been a fan of cozy mysteries for as long as I can remember. Since I first started reading, well maybe not first started reading, but early in my reading career, if you will, I really enjoyed Nancy Drew Hardy Boys. I'm not sure that those books can be qualified as cozy mysteries, but if we have a liberal, perhaps, interpretation of cozy mysteries, then starting for sure from Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, then I've been a cozy mystery fan almost my whole life. Quite a few years ago, I ran across this wonderful cozy mystery book called The Strange Files of Fremont Jones. This was a little bitty paperback book, and I think I was even working in a bookstore at the time. So I picked up the book, and as I read the synopsis, I thought, this is something right up my alley. So of course I purchased the book, read it, loved it. I think a year later or so, maybe not even quite a year later, the next book in the series came out, and I snapped it up. I think it was Fire and Fog. Snapped it up, loved it, loved it, loved it. I'm not sure if I was aware at the time that this was going to be an entire series. As it happens, my attention probably got pulled away to some other book, and I just didn't come back to Fremont Jones. I didn't come back to check on the series. I also probably stopped working at the bookstore at that time too, so there's that. One of the books that I considered for review on this channel was, of course, the first book in the series, and that was The Strange Files of Fremont Jones. Because, of course, I remember that I enjoyed it so much. And the book is old. Backlist. Let's call it backlist. The book is a backlist book. How many people would have read that book back in 95 and since 95? When I started the research to find the hardbacks, because of course I still had the two paperbacks that I bought back in the 90s, I found the first two hardbacks, of course, on thrift books, because of course that's where I look first, or tend to look first. Found the first two books and then discovered the other four. I was so excited because here's a whole 6-book series that I can talk about on the channel. Cozy Mystery Time. So excited. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Introducing the Fremont Jones Mystery Series. The series was written by Dianne, who is a Mississippi, or who was a Mississippi native. I believe she ended up moving to Eureka, California. Eureka, California. That's pretty awesome. I remember enjoying her world building and her character development, at least for sure the character of Fremont Jones. She was very independent, sort of proto-feminist from the early 1900s. And so we get to see her trying to assert her independence, trying to assert her autonomy, while still having to deal with the social pressures and mores of the time. Not that it's like a feminist treatise. It's not that. It's just that you get to see this character with her independent spirit trying to create a life for herself that feels more true to who she is. At least that's what I got from the first two books. Now, there are 4 other books in the series, so I'll have to see how the character evolves over time. I'm hoping that the Fremont Jones stays independent and curious, and just is continues to be a, I don't want to say role model, but just a really good character for women in fiction. As I said, there are 6 books in the Fremont Jones Mystery Series. The first book in the series is The Strange Files of Fremont Jones. The second book is Fire and Fog. And I'm going to reread book 1 and book 2, The Strange Files of Fremont Jones and Fire and Fog, just to restart the entire series and then just continue through to book number 6. So that's the plan anyway. The third book is The Bohemian Murders. Book number 4 is Emperor Norton's Ghost. And Emperor Norton, as I remember reading randomly, not even associated with this book series, Emperor Norton was actually a person who lived in San Francisco in the early 1900s. If you wiki him, you can find out the story all about Emperor Norton. So it's just very interesting. Little tidbit about San Francisco. All right, and the 5th book in the series is Death Train to Boston. Whoop, there you go, Death Train to Boston. And the last book in the series is Beacon Street Mourning. I am so excited to be revisiting something that I really enjoyed in the past, the first 2 books of the series, and then going ahead to experience the 4 other books in the series. You're probably asking yourself, what is the series about? Who is Fremont Jones? What is the series about? Fremont Jones is a well-educated young lady from Boston who leaves her home in Boston to come west to San Francisco to start a life of her own under her own control. She has a very controlling stepmother. Her father's fairly wealthy. And to escape sort of the plans that her stepmother has for Fremont Jones's life, she leaves Boston and she goes to San Francisco to become a typewriter. Typewriters were the new technology in the early 1900s. Fremont Jones knew how to operate one, and so that was what she set herself up to do, is become a typewriter in San Francisco. And of course, once she gets to San Francisco, fun mysteries and murder ensue, and so that's kind of the premise. That's kind of the premise that the story is set on. My plan is to read each book, give a brief review each time I finish one of the books. So it'll be kind of one of the shorties, and I may even just include it in some other review that I'm doing or some other video that I post. And then when I finish the entire series, just go back and give a review of each title and then an overview of the series, so that maybe you will be as interested and entertained as I have been in the past, and really I expect to be this time around as well. That's all I have for you today, book nerds. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And remember, no matter what you have to do within your day, there is always time to read. Bye-bye.